Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Band Together Leadership. My name is Paul Everts. I am the founder and a presenter for Band Together. You can reach me at my email address, which is BAND, the number 2 together, bandtogether, Comcast.net. Also, go to our website, which is conductingmylife.com. Go to the events tab. This is being recorded on the 16th of March. However, I'm putting it out the week of April 26th. April 29th, we'll be in VISALIA, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. April 29th, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Cafe 210, giving a seminar on John Maxwell's book, Sometimes You Win and Sometimes You Learn for Teens, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. $10. $10. That's great. Come on by. Check us out. Also, April 30th, at the First Presbyterian Church in Visalia, we'll be going to do the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. 8 a.m. is the registration, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. $55 per participant, and that gets you lunch and a participant book. That's a good deal, man. It's a good deal. We also are going to just indulge in being with one another, because as I'm doing this on the 16th of March, we are still seeing the devastation of a war in Ukraine. Now, when this comes out, April the 26th, who knows what that will be. However, I'm telling you right now, my heart's heavy. So we need positive messages right now. And when you go to the First Presbyterian Church of Visalia on the 30th of April, you're going to have some positive messages. You're going to have 15 laws to help you grow. And I want you to be there. So let's make this happen. Again, that's www.conductingmylife.com. Thank you for being with me today. I appreciate it. Just to remind you, if you're new, because there are new people coming on board all the time, which I'm so grateful for. I was a music teacher from July the 3rd, 1989 to December 22nd, 2021. Felt the Lord say, you're done. It's time for a sabbatical at least. I need you to go out and be with adults for a while. Give them some seminars. Give them some John Maxwell love, and we'll see what happens. Therefore, we decided, let's do Band Together Visalia 2022, and we'll go from there. So, again, I'd love to be with you. We are in the middle of John Maxwell's book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's one of my top 3 favorite books of all time. I read everything by John Maxwell. Top 3 books. Number 3 is this book. Not number 1, not number 2, number 3. Number 2, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, because I read that book before John Maxwell, and that book touched my heart. The book really helped me find John Maxwell. And then the first book, of course, is the Bible, and really getting more in depth with that book every day. Let's go ahead and start. Chapter 15, The Law of Victory. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Have you ever thought about what separates the leaders who achieve victory from those who suffer defeat? What does it take to be a leader? It's hard to put a finger on the quality that separates a winner from a loser. Every leadership situation is different. Every crisis has its own challenges. But Dr. Maxwell thinks that victorious leaders share an inability to accept defeat. So again, victorious leaders share an inability to accept defeat. The alternative to winning seems totally unacceptable to them. So they figure out what must be done to achieve victory, and then they go after it with everything at their disposal. Dr. Maxwell is a Civil War buff. I enjoy it as well, but not as astute as he is. And he was reading an old book that reminded him of the importance of the law of victory. It discussed the differences between the presidents of the Union and the Confederacy. So that would be Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis. Dr. Maxwell talks quite a bit about Lincoln throughout his 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership because Dr. Lincoln was such a remarkable leader. Or Dr. Lincoln. Well, he could have been a doctor. Frankly, he was a lawyer. Lincoln never forgot that the nation's victory was his highest priority, ahead of his pride, reputation, and personal comfort. President Lincoln surrounded himself with the best leaders possible, empowered his generals, and was never afraid to give others the credit for the victories the Union gained. For example, following General Grant's victory at Vicksburg, Lincoln sent a letter to him saying, I never had any faith except the general hope that you knew better than I. I now wish to make the personal acknowledgement that you were right and I was wrong. Jefferson Davis, on the other hand, never seemed to make victory his priority. When Jefferson Davis should have been thinking like a revolutionary, he worked like a bureaucrat. When he should have been delegating authority and decision-making to his generals, the best in the land, he spent his time micromanaging those generals. And worst of all, he was more concerned with being right than winning the war. Historian David M. Potter says of Davis, quote, he used an excessive share of his energy in contentious and even litigious argument to prove he was right. Jefferson Davis seemed to feel that if he were right, that was enough, that it was more important to vindicate his own rectitude than to get results, end of quote. Jefferson Davis violated the law of victory. And as a consequence, his people suffered a devastating defeat. New heading. These leaders pursued victory. Crisis seems to bring out the best and the worst in leaders. During World War II, two outstanding leaders who practiced the law of victory emerged for the Allies: British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt. They prevented Adolf Hitler from crushing Europe and remaking it according to his own vision. On his side of the Atlantic, Winston Churchill inspired the British people to resist Hitler. Long before he became Prime Minister in 1940, Churchill spoke out against the Nazis. Churchill seemed like the lone critic in 1932 when he warned, "Do not delude yourselves. Do not believe that all Germany is asking for is equal status. They are looking for weapons, and when they have them, believe me, they will ask for the return of lost territories or colonies." Excuse me. Got me a little bit. Churchill continued to speak out against the Nazis, and when Hitler annexed Austria in 1938, Churchill said to members of the House of Commons, "For 5 years I've talked to the House on these matters, not very with great success. I've watched this famous island descending incontinently, fecklessly, the stairway which leads to a dark gulf. Now is the time at last to rouse the nation. Perhaps it is the last that can be roused with a chance of preventing war, or with a chance of coming through with victory should our effort to prevent war fail." Unfortunately, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain and the other leaders of Great Britain did not make a stand against Hitler, and more of Europe fell to the Nazis. By mid-1940, most of Europe was under Germany's thumb. But then something happened that might have changed the history of the free world. The leadership of England fell to Winston Churchill. He refused to buckle under the Nazis' threats. For more than a year, Great Britain stood alone facing the threat of German invasion. When Hitler indicated that he wanted to make a deal with England, Churchill defied him. When Germany began bombing England, the British stood strong, and all the while Churchill looked for a way to gain victory. New heading, Churchill would accept nothing less. Time after time, Churchill rallied the British people. He began with his first speech after becoming Prime Minister, and I will save you the terrible British accent. Plus, it's hurting my throat for some reason. So this is what he says. He says, "We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask, what is our policy? I will say, it is to wage war by sea, land, and air, with all our might and with all our strength that God can give us. To wage war against a monstrous tyranny, never surpassed in the darkness, lamentable catalog of human crime. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? I answer in one word, victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road may be. For without victory, there is no survival. Meanwhile, Churchill did everything in his power to prevail. He deployed troops in the Mediterranean against Mussolini's forces. Although he hated communism, he allied himself with Stalin and the Soviets, sending them aid, even when Great Britain's supplies were threatened and its survival hung in the balance. And he developed his personal relationship with Franklin Roosevelt. Though the President of the United States was reluctant to enter the war, Churchill worked to build his relationship with him, hoping to change it from one of friendship and mutual respect to a full-fledged war alliance. In time, his efforts paid off. On the day the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, ushering the United States into the war, Churchill said to himself, "So we have won after all." And it goes on from there. It's a great book. Please buy the book. There are 3 components of victory real fast. Whether you're looking at a sports team, an army, a business, or a nonprofit organization, victory is possible as long as you have these 3 components real quick. Number 1, unity of vision. Teams succeed only when the players have a unified vision. No matter how much talent or potential there is, a team does not win the championship if its players have different agendas. That is true in professional sports. It's true in business. It's even true in churches. Number 2, diversity of skills. It almost goes without saying that the team needs diversity of skills. Can you imagine a whole hockey team full of goalies? A football team full of quarterbacks? It doesn't make sense. In the same way, organizations require diverse talents to succeed. Each player taking his part. And notice the diversity is in talents. We're seeing the diversity being something else, ladies and gentlemen. Please, it's diversity of talents. And then number 3, a leader dedicated to the victory and raising players to their potential. It is true that having good players with diverse skills is important. As former Notre Dame head coach Luke Holtz says, you've got to have great athletes to win. I don't care who the coach is. You can't win without good athletes, but you can lose with good athletes, that's for sure. This is where coaching makes the difference. In other words, you also require leadership to achieve victory. Unity of vision does not happen spontaneously. The right players with the proper diversity of talent don't come together on their own. It takes a leader to make those things happen, and it takes a leader to provide the motivation, empowerment, and direction required to win. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, great book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Look for us again, www.connectingmylife.com. The keys, the law of victory, man. Get a win every day. Getting up is a win, right? Being able to use the bathroom properly is a win. Eating is a win. Wearing clothes is a win. Being a citizen of the United States of America is a win. Really, it is. Okay, begin with the end in mind. Every choice you make is who you are, so choose wisely. Seek first to understand and be understood. And finally, people don't care how much you know, and then they know how much you care. And that's why I do this. Thanks a lot for supporting me. Again, this is recorded on the 16th of March, 2022. Take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great day. Bye.